Hello, Keystone students. I have two more, or actually one more rule here that you want to copy down on your yellow piece of paper, which is and this is the distributive rule. So distributive rule simply means that we're going to use the power rule in situations where we're multiplying or we're dividing, right? So if we have a situation where you have a fraction to some power, we're going to take that power, or both the nth power to both terms, and make it x to the n over y to the n. And the same rule kind of applies when I'm multiplying. I'm going to take this nth power and I'm going to distribute it to both terms, and it's become x to the n times y to the n. All right, oops. So as I look here, I have x to the fourth and y to the seventh. So what happens is it's going to give each one of these terms to the second power. So it's going to be x to the fourth squared, and then it's going to be y to the seventh squared. So in this situation, I'm going to multiply 4 times 2 to get x to the 8th, and I'm going to do 7 times 2 to get y to the 14th as our final answer. Now this one is a little tricky. Again, we're going to take each term to the third power. So 3 to the third, a squared to the third, and then lastly b to the fifth to the third power. So when I do 3 to the third, remember that means 3 times 3 times 3, which is going to give us 27. We're only going to multiply our powers, right? So then we're going to do a squared to the third, so 2 times 3 is a to the sixth. 5 times 3 gives us 15. So our final answer, 27, a to the sixth, b to the 15th. For fractions, it's the exact same thing. It's going to be x to the seventh to the third power over y to the fifth to the third power. So again, we have a power to a power, so we're going to multiply. So 7 times 3 is 21. 5 times 3 is 15. So our final answer is x to the 21st over y to the 15th. Again, when we have numbers in it, we're still going to do the exact same thing, but it's going to be 2 to the third power, a to the fourth to the third power, 3 to the third power in our denominator, b to the sixth to the third power. Right? So what we want to do here, 2 to the third power means 2 times 2 times 2, which is going to give us 8. We're going to multiply these exponents here to become a to the 12th. On the bottom, 3 to the third we already said was 27. And then we're going to do 6 times 3, which gives us b to the 18th as our final answer. So it's important that you take your time and make sure that you take everything to the third power, because organizationally it can get a little, you can mess yourself up if you're not careful of what you're doing. Okay, so now we have some negative exponents. So the first thing is it's going to be negative 2 in parentheses to the fourth power, right? That, as we talked about before, that locks in our negative exponent. It's going to be x to the third to the fourth, and then y to the negative fifth, y to the negative fifth to the fourth power, right? So negative 2 to the fourth means negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which is going to be 16. Multiply these two to be x to the 12th. Multiply those to y to the negative 20th. This negative exponent is no good. It's going to go to our denominator. So it's 16x to the 12th over y to the 20th. Okay, so negative exponents, again, we're going to do 5 to the negative 2, a to the ninth to the negative 2, b to the negative third to the negative 2. So this becomes 1 over 5 squared. Oops. 1 over 5 squared. This is a to the 18th. Sorry, a to the negative 18th, because that's a negative 2. And b to the positive 6. So now we're going to simplify. All right, so this becomes 25 in our denominator, because 5 squared is 25. This a as a negative exponent is no good. It's going to go to our denominator. The b now is a positive exponent, so it's going to stay to the top. Okay, the next one, we have negative 2 squared. We have a to the fifth squared. We have 5 squared. We have b to the negative 2 squared. All right, so negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2, which is going to give us 4. This is going to give us a to the 10th over, this gives us 25. This gives us b to the negative 4. Negative exponent is going to go to the top, so it's 4a to the 10th, b to the 4th. Again, let's move spots because it's negative, over 25 as our final answer. Okay, so this negative exponent here, again, we take everything to a negative power, so a to the 4th to the negative 2nd, b to the negative 2nd to the negative 2nd, over negative 4, negative 2nd, and c negative, c to the negative 7 to the negative 2nd. All right, so again, we're going to multiply. So this will be a to the negative 8th. This will be b to the 4th. This negative 4 to the negative 2 is going to come to the top and be negative 4 squared. And that's going to be c to the 14th. All right, so now we can go through and simplify. So I'm going to do negative 4 squared, which is 16. This a is going to go to the bottom since it's a negative exponent. B to the 4th stays at the top because it's positive. C to the 14th goes to the bottom as a final answer. So at this point, you can stop the video. Feel free to re-watch it if you want to. But again, please make sure you're careful with your exponents and the way that you're distributing. And when we have a power to a power is when we're going to multiply. So at this point, you can go and do the check for understanding. I'd like you to try to get a 5 out of 5.